Peace. Kofa, G.R.O.W.T.H podcast. Wake your ugly ass up. So, how I almost Tory Lanez and Gervonta Davis myself, part 2 and part 2.5. Quick recap. Well, first of all, thank you to everybody that liked, shared, and subscribed based off my last video. And thank you for your personal stories. Some of you shared with me. Thank you for discussing it. I'm hoping you discussed it with some of your homeboys because this happens more often than men really talk about, especially publicly, because it's embarrassing. It is, but everybody got to learn and grow. Because if we can overlook the woman that stays in an abusive relationship for 4 or 5 years and give that man 2 children, then we got to give ourselves some grace as men, even when other men are going to talk shit about you. So, quick recap for those that may be seeing this out of order. Last time I talked about how it was a chick I was in love with or whatever. Didn't want me, the non-select guy, now that that's becoming a conversation. Still did my thing, she did her thing, but when she was in a pinch, she knew who to call. So she eventually moved in with me. Things kind of went left. We got in a physical altercation that night. I wasn't the aggressor, she was. I did what I could. I tried to leave. Again, 1 bedroom, 1 bath apartment, 1 way in, 1 way out. I'm on the 2nd floor. So me trying to walk out, she throws herself across the door. She does, no, we're gonna talk about this now. Just hate to say it, but just stereotypical black bitch shit when they all go like that, right? So she starts putting her hands on me. I end up flipping out. I backhand her. I start choking her. Didn't beat her, but I did damn near choke the life out of her. Like literally, she almost died. I tried to call the police. She had broken 1 phone. By the grace of God, I had brought home a 2nd work phone, so that I was able to call the police. Had to run outside, call them on the phone, run back upstairs, try to lock myself in from blocking her from coming in. She kicks the door in. Everybody will say, oh, I'm whining, but I'm getting ready to show you pictures in a second. But she kicks the door in. Long story short, the police show up. She started mouthing off at the police because I don't think they were going to arrest anybody. I truly think they were just going to make her leave because it was my apartment, my name on the lease. Again, men, one, don't move in with a woman and not have your name on no paperwork. I wouldn't suggest moving in with a woman, period, especially if you're not married. And stop allowing them to move in with you. And I'm going to get to that in this part 2 and part 2.5. But they were going to make her leave. She started jawing at the police, so why they're not arresting me. She played the whole thin line between love and hate thing, beat herself up, roughed herself up a little bit, more so than what I did to get her off of me and when I choked her. I know you're just hearing choke, and you abused her, you beat women, all that. Never did it before, never did it after. This was back in 2008. I was 26 years old, hot head like most people, but had never thought of putting my hands on a woman, and took punches to the face and scratches to the face for 30 minutes until I got tired of that shit. So I'm just gonna move on to the next scene real quick and just show you some of these pictures. Mind you, she mouthed off to the police. She was the one that got arrested. She got arrested. We went to court 3 times. I never got a chance to speak until the judge was about to give me a sentence. And I had to just blurt out, Your Honor, I didn't get arrested. So he fiddles with the paperwork, looks at her, says, do you understand the charges you brought against you? I don't get an apology. The system. So again, to brothers, you need to understand what you're getting into with these crazy ass women. Because guess what? I had to learn this lesson more than once, more than twice. But let's get to some of these pictures, and then I'm going to move on with part 2 and part 2.5 of the story. So that was the first big claw across my face. I'm dipping and dodging. It would have been worse if she actually was able to get a hold of me. Dodge that one. I still don't see. Let me go back real quick. I still don't see right out of my right eye. Because, yeah, well, you see it. That, mind you, she doesn't have any marks on her. A little disheveled. But I don't have pictures of her, of course. This is where she tried to grab my throat and claw my throat. Again, I'm moving, dipping, dodging, trying to grab hands, trying to do the whole Chris Rock joke of, hey, I may not hit you, but, I'll shake the shit out. That shit makes for great stand-up comedy. When you're in the heat of that moment and you're really trying to get away especially as a man, because I think lead attorney said it best. Women really don't understand how strong men are, how much more stronger we are than you. Because when I got fed up, she almost lost her life, and I almost, again, Tory Lanez'd and Gervonta Davis myself. That's the old flip phone. I apologize. I think the last video I said it was an old Nokia. You can see it was a Samsung. But yeah, I'm trying to call the police first time before it even escalates. So I did everything I knew to do before choking her, putting my hands on her. Tried to walk away, tried to leave, ended up having to run away when she finally, gave me space to. But you see, she literally took my little flip phone. I love that goddamn phone too. Broke that bitch in half. Through one side in the living room, the other side I had to find out in the courtyard of the apartment because she slung it out the door. That's part of the door frame. Since, everybody think that, these women are just so weak and damsel in distress. Mind you, I had the deadbolt on and I had my couch behind the door praying for the police to hurry up and get there. That's the deadbolt. Literally kicked it out of the door. So, deadbolt, that's the door frame where it was kicked in. Another picture. Yeah, let me get back to, but yeah, y'all can see the damage that was done. Let me get it back on me. So, again, y'all see the hoodie as well. Stop lying on black men. You see the noose. It's my design. If you want to support, the links down in the description. PrioritiesLLC.com. Getting back to the story. Now let's get into part 2. I told you this was 2008. So, because of the way men are socialized, people will say I'm making up excuses, but it's real. I carry that burden and that weight with me for a while, for some years. Reached out to her to apologize, probably 2011. Again, I reached out, falling on my sword. I'll get to that in a second. And no, before we get into it, too deep into it, y'all excuse me, before we get too deep into it, it wasn't the pussy. Because I've had my fair share. It wasn't the sex. I genuinely love this girl. And because of the things, again, that she had been through, from the sexual assaults and things like that, the things that we typically hear from women, I'm a bleeding heart. I took that into account. Felt like I did her wrong. I'm on this list of bad men that she had experienced in her life now. So I reached out like 2011, 2012. We get into an argument. Oh, you haven't changed. I bet. Cut that shit short. 6 years go by. 2018, we kind of start talking again, just really on some friend shit. Just, hey, how you doing? That this went on here, there for a couple of months. Nothing consistent. Nothing consistent. By then, she had gotten married and she had 2 kids. All right. So, stupid me, still wanting a family. I got a whole other story for that, but with this particular woman, stupid me wanting a family. She's talking like she's changed. Things of that nature. I had just got back, not too long, been back from Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. Again, y'all know I'm in the military. So everything wasn't quite right. Have a conversation with her. She's helping me through it because, again, her childhood traumas, her family traumas, everything sexually that a child could be subjected to, kind of. Think about that and then multiply by 2. This is kind of what she went through. Again, so some serious shit. So I took that into account and loving her. Smart chick, still to this day, one of the smartest people I have met in my life. Highly intelligent sister. But because of that, she was also very manipulative. And it took me a minute to figure that out. Because again, black women don't do that. Moving on. So now we're in the space of where we're kind of rekindling. Comes up, kicks it, brings her kids. That's fine. I got a daughter. I'm single. I'm a single dad at that point. Real single dad. No shots taken. But I had kind of moved from that every other weekend, every other week type of rotation. Like I physically had custody of my daughter. So they hit it off. Boom. I'm like, oh shit. Now mind you, I don't have girls. She got 2 boys. I mean, I have girls. I don't have boys. She got 2 boys. All right, cool. Shit, I got my boys and I ain't gotta, oh, okay. I don't really gotta do the whole baby phase. So then we're picking up more. So then the apologies happen. We have a great conversation. Again, she played this beautifully. Great conversation. Again, this is on me. Foolish, naive me, believing I was wrong, internalizing what happened originally for 10 plus years. So back to the whole, coming home from the military, she's helping me through that. Boom, I go to therapy. Have a female therapist, older black female therapist. We're having great conversation, dialogue. I'm telling her what's going on, the things I'm struggling with as a single father. Rekindling this with our, relationship and where it might go. And she cautioned me, watch out. So she pivoted. I'm checking my vocal levels. If it's crackling, y'all, I apologize. I got to get a new mic. But so my therapist is cautioning me. And she told me, I'm stepping out the role of a therapist right now. I'm talking to you as a mother with black sons. Watch out for that. Because, and it's crazy, she almost said verbatim, a leopard don't change its spots. I'm gonna tell you why that's important in a second. Okay, well, she grown, I'm seeing different behaviors. She said, okay, that's fine. But I want you to come back and report to me. Cool. So at the time I'm rekindling with her, or that time that we had this 6-year break where we really didn't talk before we started rekindling it, I had, of course, met somebody else. So me and her had started kicking it. Really didn't happen. I went in the Army, things like that. That's a whole other story. Long story short, we maintained a friendship. She had a kid. I'm the only kid that the dad knows. So this is going on 6-7 years. I love kids. I really do. I'm great with kids. I'm better with kids than most women I know. Don't know why. It's always been like that. I was the older kid in children's church that had the smaller kids. Don't know why, but it is what it is. So cool. She got a kid. All right, cool. We have a little fling here and there or whatever. Again, I'm the non-select guy. She really wants this guy over here. But now me and the child have a relationship. So again, y'all brothers listening, you're not crazy talking about a stepchild. This is a whole other woman I'm talking about now. But fast forward again, me and the first ex are rekindling. She has a problem with the fact that I met somebody else and I was taking care of their child. She'll probably tell you opposite, but it's not true. Every time she could take a jab, she did. But this is a child that I still consider my daughter. So I always tell people I got 2 girls. And I hate having to clarify it, but I only have 1 biological. So I'm not out here running around Pookie and Ray-Raying it up and multiple baby mamas and all that. I got 1 biological and 1 non-bio, but that's still my baby. Don't treat them any fucking different. But a lot of black men find themselves caught up into that. But again, that's a whole nother post or video. But she has a problem with me having had, another woman after her. Now, mind you, she's been married and had 2 kids. Red flag. You got a problem with me being able to move on back then, but you got full on married. Big red flag. I ignored it. So again, this is why I have a little pushback when brothers are saying stand in your masculine, because I laid it down. This is what it's gonna be. We got 4 kids. I got 2 girls, you got 2 boys. This is what it's gonna be. But again, she kept on. It's a wrap. Fast forward, we're not doing this again. And the sad thing is, my daughter and her had hit it off so bad, my daughter held on to this for years. She was probably 14 at the time. My daughter just flipped out on me last summer, letting me know what had happened and how she had to carry that for 4 years. And she's about to turn 19. But last year when she was 18, we just had this big ass discussion, big ass blow up. We weren't even speaking for a minute. Nigga didn't get a call for Father's Day, none of that shit. So that happens, and this is 2018. This is 10 years again after the first incident. I'm thinking she's grown, she's matured. Again, that's why it's dangerous constantly falling on your sword, brothers. I'm telling this story for a reason, because I used to do the shit. I was big on everything is my fault even when it ain't. Fuck that shit. Please take the lesson from me. My pops always told me that a fool can learn from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others. Please learn from my mistakes. So this is 2018. We split it up again. Her and my daughter kind of keep in contact. I did not want to get in the middle of that. I wasn't going to break up that relationship because I told her that was the whole reason that, you know, that's kind of how we ended up splitting up, because I wasn't going to let her get in the middle of me and my youngest daughter's relationship. So I wasn't going to build a wedge between my oldest and her because they had the bond. So I wasn't going to do that. Fast forward again, about a month later, she stops responding to my daughter. Blocks her, no text messages, does nothing. Totally cuts her off. That's important too. So I don't call and check on the boys. Mind you, her boys are like 2 and 4 at the time. Kind of don't even know they in the damn world. They're little boys, right? So in order to talk to them, I would have to talk to their mom, right? And that shit just wasn't gonna happen. Fast forward, 2021, this is just last year. This is why I called it that was part 2. 2018 was part 2. Part 2.5. Her and my daughter had been texting again, unbeknownst to me. Don't have a problem with it. Okay, y'all got back in touch, this, that, and the third. Hey, my daughter's becoming a grown woman. And yes, her mother's in her life. But again, I'm a single father. So anybody that could help me with a girl at that time, I was open to. I mentor a group of young men. Some of their mothers have mentored my daughter. But this was somebody she had a relationship with. Let her talk to her. Let her go over there on weekends. They discuss things. For whatever reason, my daughter was spazzing out. Any single fathers out there know there's a gap, some 2 to 3 year gap in there where your child loses their fucking mind. Mine did it between 16 and 18. Is what it is. Well, really, 15 and 17. Lost her shit. So I need somebody with a stern hand, which my ex was. She always respected her. She could get in the ass and she'll get right. Really didn't have to do a lot of lifting when she was around. That was another big thing. I was like, okay, well shit, this is more family entity. The boys aren't used to hearing a male voice, but when I would tell them to do something, they would hop to it. So again, I'm thinking like, oh shit, this can work. We got some shit we got to work through. After I go to therapy, she goes through therapy or whatnot, we'll go together. Doesn't happen. Again, that's 2018. Jump back to 2021. They're rekindling. Something comes up where I don't want to give too much information because I really don't want people trying to reach out to her to find out. Something goes on with her job. She ends up coming to stay the weekend. Stays the weekend. Weekend turns to 2 weeks. But during that first weekend, we're having real conversations. She's in a bind again. She knows who she can call. Kind of on eggshells. Kind of like, because by this time I bought a house. I have a family house. I'm a single man, but I got a family size house again because I bought the house for my girls. We weren't talking at the time. After 2018, I got the house in 2019. Fast forward again, this 2021, I got a house. My homeboy cautions me again. Brush, you see your success. Humble Kofa. It sounds stupid, I know, but I know there's other men out there that went through this shit. What success? It's just a house. I know how hard I had worked for it, but at the same time, I was like, it's a house. You know what I'm saying? I got some. I secured something for my girls. I'll be damned if that nigga wasn't right. So we rekindle. Again, look, have a stern conversation with her. Again, standing on my masculine, right? Not knowing the fact that I had allowed her to come back, excuse me, she already saw that as a simp move, right? This is why you got to be careful with that, revisiting old haunts and going through old doors again, brothers. No matter how stern and more strict and red pill I was, she already saw the simp move because I provided that help that I always had, right? So I provide the help again. She needed a spot to stay. Something went on with a job. She was here in Atlanta for a minute. Need to stay. All right, cool. Starts back up. But this time I'm telling her, look, I'm in a whole different place. I'm not trying to get married. I really don't want no more kids. I'm finna get snipped. Shared way too much fucking information. So what she started doing when I say she takes the mental note when I'm trying to get snipped, right? Trap me with a baby. Start slanging it. I gotta stall that shit out. I swear to God, niggas would have swore I was gay. It went for a week or 2 weeks. I didn't touch her, right? Well, I take that back. I ain't gonna lie to you. The first night when we had, again, another good conversation, we did it. So we had sex that first night or whatever, that we kind of leaned back. She was here like 2 days, maybe like the third day. We did it, right? So after that, after I'm seeing this pattern of, oh shit, I can get it when I want to. And then my homeboy even like, man, you got in-house. You got that in-house pussy. Like, bro, this shit ain't all what it's cracked up to be. Like, something just in my soul and my spirit didn't feel right. But I'm going to ride this out because girls are made of sugar and spice and everything nice. Boys are made of snakes, snails, puppy dog tails. I'm wrong. Something's going on with me. Oh, nigga, you just scared. This is why I caution brothers. That sign language, excuse me, that shame, insults, guilt trip need to be right. It's a real thing. Because even then, even in the motion of, hey, why aren't we going to be together? I already told you what it was. So she calls me a coward because I just won't be with her. No, if you come back this time, you're on my program. That's the way I'm moving. That's the way I'm thinking. Like I said, cut off from the dick or whatever. Fast forward. We taking the boys. I can't give y'all all the details. I can't, because then people will be able to do a little bit of research, find out who shit and whatnot. I'm not going to give you all the details. Fast forward, like I said, the weekend turns to 2 weeks, turns to, oh, the boys are homeschooled. I had their books and stuff delivered here. All right, cool. When you found a spot, mind you, it's Atlanta. It's not people moving in and out this city, all over this metro all the time. You can find an apartment. So I started putting pressure on them. What's going on? I might have to give y'all a part 3. But what's going on with the apartment? Oh, I found this place. I didn't like it. This, that, and that. But what do you think about this one? Where silly me, not just, hey, bitch, yeah, you found a roof. Get out of my house. What about the boys? That's not the neighborhood you want to move in. Light bulb goes off. Hindsight 2020. She was finding fucked up places intentionally, of course. So eventually we get into it. Bad. When I tell you guys, I have never been cussed out so politely in my life. I'm gonna say it again. I have never been cussed out so politely in my life. She was attempting to get me to repeat 2008. The things she said to me, it wasn't even oh, nigga, you gay, you can't fuck, like she did last time. Oh, she elevated her insults. I'm a terrible father. That's what's wrong with your daughter now. You were never there for her. The streets raised her. This, that, and the third. I think I've shared with some of y'all that that I had suicidal ideations for a long time. I know what a Glock tastes like. Didn't pull the trigger, obviously. I'm still here. By the grace of God, I'm still here. Allahu Akbar. I'm still here. So, and the stuff that I struggle with still to this day, I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. It's part of the reason I started this channel, to make it okay for us to talk about this shit out loud. But she tells me, the next time you find yourself depressed, next time you put that gun in your mouth, just do everybody a favor. Go ahead and pull the trigger. Bet. Mind you, I'm damn near the only father that her children know. They daddy ain't nowhere around to this day. Invited her in my house, her boys in my house. Took care of them, adjusted my work schedule because they were homeschooled, making sure they were good to go. Didn't have to touch a bill. So again, as a non-select guy, that some people tell it, made shit happen. And I know there's other men out there in earshot of my voice that are going through the same thing. When I put up the first video, bro, I had no idea you guys were gonna reach out to me. I should have started off with this, but Dr. T.S. Johnson, thank you, brother. I am a fan of your work. I pray to meet you someday. Might be this year. I might just fly out to Cali, hopefully just sit in on a class, bro. You did not have to share that first video. You didn't have to share with me the things that we talked about in private. No matter how brief that conversation was, bro, thank you. To everybody who left a comment, thank you. I knew, because it just confirmed for me, I know I'm not crazy. This is why I tell y'all that. Brothers, you're not crazy, and you matter. I knew I wasn't crazy. I knew I wasn't the only cat to go through this. So I'm gonna wrap it up real quick. But me and her get into it that night. She tells me all that shit. Mind you, again, Army Reserve. She know I has to go. I gotta be up at 5 o'clock. After we get into it, let me backtrack to fast forward real quick. We get into it. We don't talk for a couple of days. I'm sleeping on the couch myself. I don't even want to be around her energy. When I'm pissed off, let me be pissed off. You got to give me a couple of days. I'm not talking about 1 or 2. I'm talking about 3 or 4, maybe a week. Let me cool completely the fuck down, because I know how violent my temper is. And I know there's other brothers out there like that too. And then y'all are being told that you're weak because you let a woman do this. But you know that your temper goes from 0 to prison real fast. I'm the same way. So again, worked on it, did great, still working on it. But we don't talk for a couple of days, right? She knows I got to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning. I'm sleeping on the couch again. She wakes me up, standing over me, just calling my name at 3 o'clock in the morning, before berating me how nicely and politely she cussed me out. She goes back upstairs, goes to sleep. And this is how I know I had matured and how I was done. I didn't say a word to her. Didn't argue back. I knew what she was looking for. Like I said, a repeat of 2008. Wasn't gonna happen. I wasn't even finna invite that type of energy into my space again with the police. But I take my ass back to sleep for an hour or two, get up, get dressed, boom, head to work. Lunchtime, I just text her. Last night wasn't cool. I need you and everything that you got there for you and the boys. I need y'all out of the house by XYZ. I forgot how many days I gave her. Pay attention to this, brothers. I gave her a couple of days because she did have a lot. She was slowly bringing shit in, right? Thinking I didn't notice it. But I'm like, shit, she ain't staying. She can bring a whole house. She not staying. It is what it is. But I was too patient. But peep this. This is why we say she's never yours. It's just your turn. She always got a backup plan. I text her that at 12 o'clock. Gave her a certain day during the week. Mind you, this is Saturday at 12. You got a certain day during the week to get out or whatever. Why the fuck she was out my house for 2 hours? She had already planned. She already had something lined up as a backup. Gone. When I came home from work that day, I looked around because there's no way in hell she packed up all that shit and got it out of here. There's no way. Because I could see on my little Ring camera when she pulled off. There's no way she packed up all that shit. Because I could see her as she was going back and forth to the car, so I knew she was, getting the shit ready to leave. But I figured she was going to have to come back a day or two later to get the rest of the stuff. She found a way to get everything she had in my house out the house, other than, a little knick-knack or something here or there. So I gave her that at 12. Sent her that text at like 12 around lunch. 2 hours, gone. House completely empty. Closet, all that shit. And I went through so much with this girl that I have left out, bro. I've thought about at least 2, 3, 4, 5 other things that we went through at these different periods of trying to build together. So for the men listening, bro, you're not crazy and you matter, like I always say, but you have to be more attentive. You got to be more cutthroat. You got to be as cutthroat as they are. During the first video, I told you she knew she got arrested. We sat in court 3 times in front of that judge, and she ain't said word one about, oh, Your Honor, it wasn't him, it was me. Again, if I would have caught that charge, no military career. No career period really with a DV. And there's so many brothers, we can clown and say, oh, you got caught up in your feelings and your emotions. That shit hard when you're actually a person that care. But it's so fucked up in our community when you're actually a black man that gives a fuck. Everybody want to boil it down to you pussy whipped. Everybody want to boil it down to pussy and money. Bet. Because once that nice guy turns that corner, there's no coming back. This is where you get this movement of passport, bro. This is where you get brothers dating out because of situations like this. And a lot of brothers aren't just swearing off sisters altogether. Again, just exploring options. Because if you can take care of another man's child, plus that woman, plus take care of your child, brothers, I want you to think about that shit. Every dollar that they subtract from you, give it or add it or multiply it to yourself. How much money would you have? How much time would you have? Because in the middle of that, going through that, talking with my mom, she said, you got to understand, you got 2 girls, she got 2 boys. If y'all gonna do it, you got to not only have all your kids together with their daddy at once, you got to have all the kids together with you and her at once. And each and every one of those children are individuals. No matter who roof they laying up under, each and every one of them children are individuals. So you got to, as a father, you got to give them time each individually by themselves, because they're not all going to like the same thing. I want y'all to think about that shit, bro. Do you really have that time to stretch yourself that thin? Do you? Do you really have that much money? And it's fucked up because our community will tell you that you're broke because you can't take care of another nigga's kids. But that motherfucker get a pass. And so does the bitch that chose him. But the guy that chose her is the asshole. The nice guy. The non-select guy. The good dude. The solid brother. Whatever turn of phrase you want to use. And again, I love that girl. Can still get her, don't hate her. It just ain't for me. It ain't serving me. To this, because of that and some other situations, I can't date women with mental health issues. I refuse. Because I was already super duper patient. This is a decade. And again, just because she wasn't around don't mean a nigga went pussyless. Don't get it fucked up. I've never been accused of gracing the cover of GQ, but I know I'm a handsome motherfucker. The boy did all right. But what's crazy is when the good dude, again, can turn that corner. But when he's trying to solidify a family, he's absolutely insane in our culture. But if he goes out there and proves that he can compete with the players, the alphas, he need to sit his ass down. Why you ain't married? See, we figure shit out to insult the best of us. And I don't walk on water, but I know I'm a solid ass man. But the quote unquote Pookies and the Ray Rays, those real lame ass niggas that don't do shit, don't produce shit in our community, we give them a pass all the time, which was her ex. Again, I was raising his kids. This nigga was nowhere to be seen. That's another red flag. I know I said I was wrapping up. I'm gonna just keep going. Fuck it. Y'all can play this in parts if you need to. But that was another red flag. She kept bringing up the hurt that he gave her. When women do that shit, bruh, she ain't let go of that man. I'm not talking about she ain't let go of the hurt. She's still emotionally and romantically attached to that man, especially if it's the father of her kids. Now, what's crazy is when they want to get cutthroat, they'll never say, oh, that's the father of my kids. But a nigga that whooped her ass like that last one did. Shout out to Up City. Brothers are tired of being the cleanup man, refusing, going forward. So when other sisters are hearing brothers tell their stories like this and say, oh, you're whining and who hurt you? A black woman or black women, because it's not just about romantic relationships. I'm sharing my story, but it's not just about romantic relationships. We see this shit in our cousins. We see this shit in our sisters. Black women are notorious for making very, very poor decisions in men and getting away with it. Black men like myself have made poor decisions in women, haven't got away with it. One of my favorite quotes from The Godfather: women and children can be careless, but not men. Brothers, please go find that scene. But again, this is why I dubbed it 2.0 and 2.5. Because those 2 years, 18 to 21, happened so quick. And that's how it goes. I'm not gonna give you the fuck all black women, all black, because it's not all. But when you go through that type of hurt, it sticks with you, and you got to make some adjustments. Nobody's gonna tell you that, you know, it's on her. They're gonna find a way to blame you. So you're the one that got to make them adjustments, bro. Had a brother in the comments of one of the other videos saying, hey, I was just about to go back to my wife until I saw your video, and this confirmed it. I told that brother to run as fast as he can. Can't do nothing but pray for him in divorce court. Because again, had I lost my temper in 2021 when she was politely berating me like I did in 2008, I probably wouldn't be sitting here right now. This was just now it's 2023. Happy New Year, by the way. Now it's 2023, but this is just in the summer of 2021. Summer, fall time of 2021. Could have been something totally different. No YouTube. Again, no military career. By the grace of God, I escaped. Because I put myself in a position. Being forgiving, being loving, being humble, being naive, being stupid. All that wrapped into one, being in love. So there's a lot of people out there that love talking about the player trope and all that shit. But there's more black men who are out here in love. Like Kevin Samuel said, RIP to that brother. But men are the more romantic of the two. Don't believe me? Who write the poems? Who write the love songs? Who sacrifice their resources to take care of another man's child because you're a package deal? A lot of men will move heaven and earth for sisters. and we don't get the reciprocation. So in knowing that we don't get the reciprocation, brothers, don't do that shit. Don't give them shit. If you feel it in your gut, because there's such thing as man's intuition too, it's really just intuition, a sixth sense. You know when shit ain't right. Cut her ass loose. And again, with this one, it wasn't even all about the sex. Really wasn't about the sex at all. I actually loved her. I saw a future with her. Our morals, our ethics aligned until she didn't get her way. But I had to also take into account I was overlooking her family history. So now not only do I not fuck with single moms or women with mental health issues, I can't fuck with women that don't have a relationship or a good relationship with their father. It's a lot of stuff that black men say, and they take in society, the community at large takes it as harsh. But the truth is, this is what it is. This is why my situation, the other brothers that have commented and been open enough to speak about this is why we're hesitant on serious relationships and marriage when we are. Because the guys that were willing to be married, wanted to be husbands, they usually go through the most hell. All the players, the select guys, y'all don't do shit with them, ladies. I'm sorry. You don't hold them to the same level of accountability. And it's really fucked up. And with that said, a lot of this shit that go on, we can lay directly at your feet. It's fucked up in the community. If that's going to be the case. If that's going, that's just the game. That's just what it is. But don't want to place blame anywhere else. Placing it squarely on myself tonight. Or whenever you see this video, respectively. I just ask that you guys share this story. Share your story. Excuse me. Have that conversation with your boys. Be open to receive that story from your boys with some positive reinforcement. Not the old nigga, you a bitch, you a simp, you a sucker. Oh nigga, I wouldn't have did that shit for that bitch. Brothers don't need to hear that. He already questioning himself. He already not sure. Because guess what? Every step along the way, when he flips, or when he puts his foot down, now he's abusive. He ain't even got to fly off the handle like that. He just a simple no. Here comes some simp ass player, but most of them niggas is simps. I got a video lined up for that shit too. Most of these niggas gonna come and say, "Oh man, you can't get your lady what you want." So now the nigga second guessing himself, like, "Damn, for real?" And then you getting that shit from the woman side. So brothers, this is just about getting stronger mentally and emotionally. This is why I say so vehemently, fuck these hoes. And shouldn't nobody get offended but the hoes. If she gets offended, she just told you what she is. Use your intuition, bro. You matter. You're not crazy. For anybody that don't like my story, you need to understand something. You get this.
I built this shit. Me. Brick by brick. And I'll be damned if I let you tear it down just because you don't like the way another nigga talk.
So it's going to be a lot of videos to come in 2023. But I wanted to start out getting this personal story off my chest because I knew somebody else needed to hear it. Thank y'all again, man, for the validation on some real shit, on some G shit, bro. Because nobody had to comment, nobody had to like, nobody had to share, nobody had to open up to me. But I want to make it a common place where we tell these stories. We can laugh, cry, all that shit. I'm the realest nigga breathing. I'll say it 100 times over. I'm the baddest motherfucker walking the face of the goddamn planet. And I want you to have that same level of confidence, bro. Damn. I really didn't mean for this shit to go this long. But that's why it's 2.0, part 2.5 of how I almost Tory Lanez'd and Gervonta Davis myself. Because it could have went the other way, but God. All jokes aside, but God, or whoever you believe in, or the universe, or whatever, it could have went totally different, and your boy not here talking to you right now. Your boy isn't here listening to y'all right now. Share these stories, man. Stop being embarrassed about it. Oh, get back real quick. When I mentioned that, what my therapist said, be careful because a leopard doesn't change its spots. When I had a conversation after everything was finally done back in 2021 with my mama, she said, see, I told you, which she did. You got to be careful with these women out here because you're successful. The same shit my homeboys showed me. Brother, stop being so humble. I'm going to end with this. Stop being so motherfucking humble. Because if you really won that nigga, the bitch wouldn't come around. Even if she don't like you, she like what the fuck you can do for her. But the nigga she wants to lay up with can't do that shit. So truth told, that nigga can't hold a fucking candle to you. Understand that shit. A lot of these quote unquote select guys, these alphas, these niggas lie to get pussy. But in our community, we'll call it finesse. We'll call it game. He really can't look a woman in the face and be like, hey, I'm just trying to fuck. But the non-select guy, use that as your vantage point. You can actually provide shit. Start talking to these bitches like that. That's what they want. But before I get off on that tangent, understand you that nigga because you can actually provide. So something my mama said, a tiger don't change his stripes. That was almost the same thing that my therapist told me. 2 older black women who done been through the fire. So start reaching out to people, brother. You got to tell your story so somebody can give you some good advice and be in a place to receive it. Because unbeknownst to a lot of us, somebody will look out for your best interest. You got to be willing to receive that shit, though. So I hope this video finds y'all well. I hope it helps somebody else. Share those stories with me, man. Y'all find me on IG, Demigod, DEMIGOD _Kofa, KOFA, Demigod _Kofa. Like, share, subscribe here on YouTube. The emails in my about section, just hit me up with ideas. Hit me up with, things you want to discuss. You may want to get it off your chest, bro. We got to start having these conversations, men. There's going to be enough niggas out there to say you whining, you complain, and stop worrying about females, this, that, and that. It matters because we're here in this community together. And these will be the same motherfuckers as soon as the women start bitching and moaning about ain't no black men helping in the community. These same hoe ass niggas gonna bring their ass around, agreeing with them. And these bird brain ass bitches gonna follow right behind them, get fucked, and still don't have a daddy for their child. Cause them same select guys gonna be off in the wind. But again, that's for another video. As always, I'm gonna end off with Uncle Bernie, R.I.P. But if people don't like you, bro,
people don't like how you be yourself, fuck them. Fuck them up against the wall. Wear handcuffs on them and crazy through on their lips.
Peace.